This one taken from the 7. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. Kirk Cousins, the 31-year-old quarterback in his second season with the Vikings, bringing them out the rest of this offense. And it's also the first time that Kirk Cousins has quarterbacked a team to double-digit victories. The Vikings reaching that plateau for the second time in 3 years after winning 13 back in 2017. But for Kirk Cousins, the numbers have been good. Second straight year on track to top 70% completion-wise. Also the fewest amount of interceptions that he has had. And when you consider he's been playing a large part of this season without his Pro Bowl wideout Adam Thielen, makes the numbers that much more impressive. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. Give him 3 there on the first play of the game, and it's 2nd down. Let's take a look here at the offense for Minnesota.
For a lot of people, there are pros and cons to playing close to home in the NFL. But for Adam Thielen, it's nothing but pros. Grew up not too far from the Twin Cities, loves being a Viking, and is a really dependable third down receiver.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Draw play. Cousins to Cook. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And he's got Kyle Rudolph. And able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. That one goes for 30 yards.
Brandon, we've both been around the game long enough that we know that in pregame, defenses are pretty amped up, aren't they? I mean, they're pounding lockers, and they can't wait to get out there. But when you hit them with some big pass plays early, it takes the starch right out of them.
So how about that for a chain mover? They're all the way down inside the 40 now for 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. That'll be complete to Cook. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. And the 49ers on the defensive side of the football.
Jaworski Tartt came out of Samford University in Alabama. And he is a guy who is an absolute flash at the safety position.
That first down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. They go play action. Cousins. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And this will move the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the 49ers 14.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route. Drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
From the red zone now, Cousins. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete. He was looking for Adam Thielen there. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. To the air again, it's Cousins. And they corral him just a couple yards shy of the end zone. Cousins able to connect with Treadwell for a Minnesota first. Well, he did everything but get him in the end zone there, but now they're set up. Golden opportunity, strong opening drive, and they're knocking on the door.
And the way that they did it, now look where they are on the field. All right, this is naturally set up for a running play, isn't it? But with his ability to throw the football, his accuracy on this drive, you might want to think about a pass play in this situation.
Interesting. And he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A 2-yard touchdown grab. And the Vikings take the ball down the field and score on their opening drive. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Dan Bailey now for the extra point. He's got it, and the Vikings take a 7-0 lead. So that drive takes him down the field in 8 plays. And it all culminates in a touchdown for Minnesota. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is fielded at the goal line. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. 49ers offense coming out here led by the 28-year-old quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, who turned 28 last month, and this is his first year as an every-week starter. You remember last season, all the hope, all the expectation, lost in week 3 to injury. But this year, I think he and the rest of this team, they've broken everyone's expectations, double-digit victories. And Jimmy Garoppolo's had a strong run game to rely on, but he's had some good performances himself, maybe most notably week 14 out-dueling Drew Brees with a 4-touchdown performance in a big win at New Orleans. Garoppolo going to bring the Niners up here 1st and 10, just shy of the 30. Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. And these are the guys we're about to see down on the turf in just a moment.
Joe Staley, the left tackle, one of the most respected players in the league, as well as one of the most talented.
Here's 2nd and 10 now from the 29.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Check that.
They'll run for the first time with Tevin Coleman. A pretty nice gain there on the run. Gets it to the 35 after showcasing the agile move.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. From the gun, it's Garoppolo. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a 1st down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th. So the defense able to get off the field here on 3rd down.
And it's one of the goals of the game. They've got to be effective on passing downs. It's one of the few things defenses chart. How did we do on 3rd down? That's a nice start for them in this one.
So on 4th down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowsky to punt this one away. Fielded at the 20. That'll be a 43-yard punt, but a net of just 33 following a 10-yard return. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Now the Minnesota Vikings coming back out as they get the football here. Now, it's been over 4 decades since the Vikings played in the Super Bowl, and you don't know if this is going to be the year that they get back. But there has not been a lot of talk about this Minnesota team. A double-digit win season and a lot of good teams in this conference, and I feel like they're a little bit under the radar. But top 10 in both offense and defense. You got dynamic players on both sides of the football. And we'll see what this Minnesota Vikings team can do down the stretch if they can make a little noise. One thing's for sure, they've been very good at home this season. Throwing, Cousins. And Rudolph has it, the tight end. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. 13 yards as the Vikings pick up the first down.
The beauty of route running is it doesn't matter what position. Everyone's doing the same thing. In this case, tight end selling the vertical route. Get the defensive back on his heels, break off for the corner, and with good timing, you get a completion as we just saw there.
On the ground, it's Cook. So a nice job to break the one tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
On second down, Cook. They follow up the gain of 5 by only getting 1 there on second down. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Cousins from the gun on third. It's caught by Treadwell. Well, the two men come together, and it's incomplete. Excellent work defensively, brings up 4th down. On now to kick it away is the punter, Matt Weil. Back deep, Trent Taylor. This is away and a very good kick, angled for the sidelines. The 49er offense set to get this drive underway. And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10.
He can't hang. He's not going to get me.
On second down, it's Coleman. And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. That backs him up 1 yard and brings up 3rd down.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
The threat of a second straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. Play fake there to Coleman. Now Garoppolo. He's got his man. It's Kendrick Bourne. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down. A gain of 19 and picking up the first.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air, and sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. Garoppolo now, first down throw. The first catch of the game for George Kittle. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A good pickup there, 26 yards.
I know exactly what's going to be said about that play from the defensive perspective.
What's that?
That's why I tell all you guys we need more than one tackler to the ball. He broke the first tackle. Luckily enough, there were more people there to get him down.
From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 as they've got it to the 28-yard line. They'll run with Coleman on first down and only able to muster a couple down to about the 27.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8.
You can't block me. You can't block me.
Now Garoppolo leads from McKinnon on the draw. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. The Niners have the first down on a gain of 11.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
Here we go. 180. Right there, 55. Wild Bill.
They'll run on first down. Coleman. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Xavier Rhodes makes the tackle.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments and doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Second down, McKinnon. And he'll get this one down to about the 10-yard line. Give him 3 on the run there. Now they're looking at a 3rd and about 5.
Well, that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again, they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
To throw, it's Garoppolo. To the end zone, but it's incomplete. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, if you don't win on 3rd down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, you're relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
So Garoppolo off. Coming on is the veteran Robbie Gould for the 49er field goal. And the 14-year trusty veteran able to knock it through. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Now, that's something of a pick-me-up. The offense certainly has struggled, but they do get the field goal before half to put 3 on the board.
Yeah, you don't want to be shut out, but let's face it. Those 3 points, that's not going to solve all their problems either.
Now it's Gould after splitting the uprights to kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Here comes Kirk Cousins now to lead his offense back out there. He's played a pretty clean first half, a touchdown, no interceptions.
Frankly, that's what they expect out of him. They want to see the ball thrown and thrown well, and he's able to do that and put it in the end zone. They'd love to see more of that before this game finishes, but right now, he's got his team in a good spot.
A good spot, maybe looking for touchdown pass number 2 here in the second quarter. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. They start the drive with Cook. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. He'll get 15 and a Vikings first down. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Jonathan Coachman will join us from Orlando with our halftime report. But business to take care of before we get there.
A 2-minute drill.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Credit the sack to Fred Warner.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. To throw, Cousins. And this one hauled in by Rudolph. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. They had the catch on 2nd down, but it didn't help at all, and now they're looking at 3rd down here. Working out of the gun, Cousins. That's complete to the receiver, Thielen. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down.
It's a game of matchups, and that's why you take your receivers and move them around a bunch, especially your best guys. And when they work out of the slot, you often hear the coaches talk about how great it is because it gives you a two-way go. You can break out or you can break in. That makes it hard to defend.
Here's Matt Weil now as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. San Francisco coming back out here, CD. This is a franchise that this year will end a 5-year playoff drought. That's the good news. Great record, but it could have been even better, really. You think about some of the heartbreaking losses. Overtime to Seattle, a field goal at the horn by Justin Tucker and the Ravens, and then that real shocker against Atlanta Week 15, Julio Jones, the touchdown, no touchdown right there at the goal line.
And that's the one that we shouldn't have been as surprised, only for this reason. They were so injured, so beat up, so many starters not playing in that game, and they took Atlanta to the limit, although I guess we would say Atlanta took them to the limit and found a way to win. But I do think that this 49ers team, with health in the playoffs, as dangerous as any team in the NFC.
Now the first play of the drive there is incomplete. CD, with that incompletion, let's talk AFC Playoff Picture. I think you and I agree that if you put together any sort of power rankings, we put Baltimore #1, certainly in the AFC. But you look ahead to the playoffs getting started on January 4th. Who do you see as their main competitor for that Lamar Hunt trophy?
Well,
that's caught at the 25. The 49ers now going to use the first of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half.
Here we go.
So barely time to catch our breath. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the red zone.
Hey, we got four.
Working from the gun, Garoppolo. And he finds his tight end, Salek. Now San Francisco going to call their second timeout as the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime.
Here we go.
4 yards on that last completion, so that sets up 2nd and 6. Garoppolo again. Completes it to the tight end, Kittle. And he'll be taken down at the 2-yard line. The Niners passing game in sync now. They've got another first down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
So it's 1st and goal and a great opportunity to get that lead back before the break. And yet again, it's Garoppolo. To the goal line, but it's incomplete. He was looking that time for Dante Pettis, but it'll be 2nd and goal. Second and goal, and they will try again from the 2-yard line.
Come on, come on.
Garoppolo looks to throw once more. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete. He was trying to get it to George Kittle, his tight end, but now it's 3rd and goal. So on 3rd down, the field goal unit will come out as they'll try to get 3 before half. From the right hash at a bit of a tight angle. The kick by Golden is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So yes, they'll still be down going into intermission, but the deficit is now made even smaller, very manageable.
Yeah, and if nothing haywire happens here in his last couple of precious seconds, they will go into the locker room with a nice bounce in their step, having gotten a little bit closer on the scoreboard.
Now it's Gold after splitting the uprights to kick this one away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Time for a final kneel down or a safe run, and then they can head to the locker room with a lead.
Yeah, or they can even run a screen. You know, something they feel is somewhat safe that might actually pop and turn into a big play. That's what you usually run in this situation.
Or go 4 verticals because why not?
Because you're feeling it, right? You're just feeling it.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here comes the 49ers offensive unit as they'll have it first to begin this third quarter. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half two, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. Garoppolo going to bring the Niners up here first and 10 at their own 25-yard line. A shotgun snap for Garoppolo. And the tip there altered the ball flight, and it falls incomplete. It'll be second down. With that incompletion, you know, Charles, one of the big storylines in the final few weeks of the season lies in the AFC South. Tennessee and Houston battling back and forth. Houston won round 1, week 15, a victory in Nashville. But which of those two teams do you think has the potential to go deeper in the playoffs?
Well, Tennessee just lost at home to Houston, and now we'll have to go on the road to play them again in week 17.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. The sack by big number 98, Linval Joseph.
We are seeing two really confident defenses imposing their will on these offenses in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, going toe for toe. Just curious if one of these offenses can wake up a little bit.
Is there any way they can find something that can pop, something big to knock them back on their heels?
That last sack, it puts Garoppolo and the 49ers in a tough spot. They face a third and long. On third and long, it's Garoppolo. Open man is born. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. How about 25 yards on third down? They'll take it.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Here we go. 180! Stay with your man! Say.
On first down, it's Coleman. And he'll get this up past the 45 to the 47. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Go!
Now the Georgia Southern man, it's Matt Breida. And very little running room there. He did get a couple up to the 49.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
Here we go. 180! Check. Walk 54. Watch the pass.
And boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short. A good rally to the football holds him to 2, and that brings up a 4th down.
Well, it wasn't a big strike, but that completion put them in really great range. What do we have now, 4th and inches?
Yeah, it's not more than a half a foot.
You know what I would do here?
You would always go for it.
I'm one of those guys.
Here comes the 49ers punter now. He'll boot it away from about his 35. His first punt, 45 yards. This looks good as well. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the ball back here, didn't surrender any points. Now they'll look to add to that lead.
Hey, how about the boost the defense gave them? Going right out on the field, shutting them down, not giving up any points, and turning the ball back over. They want to do their part now and show them a little respect and some gratitude by scoring some points.
And to get a little more cushion. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at the 20. Cousins to throw it. It's complete to Diggs. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage, even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time.
2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. Cousins gives way to Cook. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. After getting stuffed on first down, not much better there. 2-yard gain.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
On 3rd down, Cousins. And the throw there going to be incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. Here's Matt Weil now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line.
And he's got to be fired up about that effort. I don't think he could have walked down and placed it any better than where he ended up putting the football. That was excellent.
The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. And they will begin with, should we call it, far from ideal starting field position, their own 2-yard line.
So what's your definition of ideal?
The 1-yard line on the other side of the field.
Yes, exactly right. So, yes, your definition is apropos in this case.
Here we go, here we go. 180! Mike 54. So don't say nothing.
In his own end zone, it's Garoppolo. And this is Selleck here with a grab. And he's able to get this across the 10 before being taken down. The Niners have the first down on a gain of 11.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there? Freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
So a little more space to operate now. 1st and 10 from right around the 12. Garoppolo going to hand this one to Coleman. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again 2nd and 10. They will run again with Coleman. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. The 2nd down play, not much better than the first, just a gain of 1 there. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
Throwing is Garoppolo on 3rd down. Going for the deep ball. And that is incomplete.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Here comes the 49ers punter now, standing about a yard deep in his own end zone. 47 yards on the punt that time, just 1 yard on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Vikings offense now, they get ready to head back on the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Switch.
Here's Cook as they begin on the ground. Call it a gain of 4 on 1st, and that'll make it 2nd down. And that is going to do it for this third quarter of action. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6.
Let's go.
They'll try and wind down some clock with Cook. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. It's a gain of 11 as the Vikings pick up the first. I tell you, they didn't give it to him much through the first 3 quarters, but when they have, he's been efficient. Maybe they ride him more here down the stretch.
Yeah, not sure it was actually in the game plan for him to have as few carries as he has, but it might play out really well for them now. As you noted, if they want to ride him down the stretch, he should have fresh legs.
Following the good run by Cook, here's another 1st and 10. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And they'll bring him down after just a short pickup. The pass rush specialist, D. Ford, in on the stop. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
And think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking.
Taking it right down Broadway. Touchdown, Vikings. Dalvin Cook, his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Vikings are going to widen that advantage. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
Here's Bailey now for the extra point. And it's up. It's good. Our score, 14-6. So that drive, 4 plays. And it's capped off by the touchdown run coming from Dalvin Cook. Bailey now to kick it away after the touchdown. This will be fielded at the 8. And a good effort on the return there. Gets him across the 30 to the 33-yard line. And San Francisco gets set to go here. And hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. leverage guys, win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs, and that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33.
Check.
On play action, now Garoppolo. Man open, it's Goodwin. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. First down, San Francisco. The pickup, 14 yards. First play of the drive in their hip pocket. Of course, the focus here has to be the touchdown or the two-point conversion. Field goals aren't going to help you.
Yeah, but how about that first play of the drive? Just to get them started, nice gain, got some positive momentum going. They're on their way, and they don't have to rush.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
That last catch short of the marker by just a yard leaves him with a very manageable 2nd and 1. Garoppolo going to give this one to McKinnon. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. After seeing that, maybe time to go back to some downfield throws here.
Yeah, anything. Change it up, because the teams that win, the best teams, they're the ones that make adjustments. Doesn't mean you can't come back to what you thought you could get done. Sometimes when you open things up a little bit, you can get back to what you wanted to do before.
Under 4 to play now. Clock running. 3rd down.
65.
From the gun, it's Garoppolo. And that will be incomplete. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
Here comes the 49ers punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away.
Get ready, get ready, get ready.
And now out comes Minnesota. Right now clinging to a 1-score lead, Charles, and I think operating within that 4-minute offense with a little less than 4 minutes to go applies here, right?
It certainly does, and that means the playbook is still wide open. But you are a little bit more careful about what you're calling. You want plays that are going to gain yardage, how would you say it, consistently, right? You don't need the big shots downfield, but make sure the clock continues to run. Pile up the first downs, and the goal, end the game with your quarterback kneeling down at the end, and you still have the lead.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Getting the sack, the 227-pound linebacker, Quan Alexander. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest ones, maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19. Now Cousins. And Rudolph has it, the tight end. They get 14 back, but it leads now to a third down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Coming up to the line, and they will need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Now Cook, he's got it off the draw, and he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. It'll be a 51-yard punt that time. And the Niners will go on offense. 1st and 10. Garoppolo and the Niners now. Down 14-6. 1:53 remaining. They need a touchdown and, of course, the 2-point conversion as well.
Here we go. Wait, 80! 54 Mike.
He'll look to throw. Got the connection here to Bourne. That one goes for 24 yards.
Let's go.
That's what they need right now. Get the first down, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
Just playing smart football, understanding the situation, making the plays necessary, and making sure that clock stops at every opportunity.
Here we go. 80! 54. Mike, 54. Watch the out.
From midfield, here's Garoppolo. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. We have not seen a whole lot of wide-open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
And that's another nice job there to force an incompletion. They've been very cohesive, knowing each other's moves all game long, and they've been on the spot just about every time.
And they've held them in check on the scoreboard. He's back to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete. George Kittle, the receiver that he was looking for. But now it'll be 3rd down. So he's unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Back to throw. Goodwin able to haul it in. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 33.
Nice, well-coached, a team that understands what's going on. They still have time to work the middle of the field as they just did there.
First down now, but that clock rolling. Now Garoppolo. Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete. Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You're having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
To throw is Garoppolo. That's complete to a speedy wideout Goodwin. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
It drives some people crazy to see those short throws underneath. They've got to find a way to gash the defense downfield.
They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Garoppolo to throw. He finds McKinnon, complete. And they work this near the 5. He'll be stopped at the 6. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
I'm a little surprised right here. They've got 3 timeouts left. The clock's running down, and they aren't using them. Those timeouts do you no good at home. Use them now.
First and goal, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here are musts. Back to throw, Garoppolo, and it's caught, and he's going to take it in. Touchdown, San Francisco. George Kittle with time running out as they now sit just a 2-point conversion away from tying this game up in the 4th quarter.
So they got the touchdown they needed to cut this to 2, but now they've got to get back to the huddle. No celebration time. Got to figure out what they're going to do on the 2-point conversion.
The late touchdown was only half the battle. Now they need the 2-point conversion to tie the ball game. They'll look to throw. And it's caught. And with it, we are tied here in the 4th. Everything was riding on that 2-point conversion, and they got it.
They got it. They now have the momentum. Time really dwindling in this game. Now their big deal is make sure they get a good kickoff and don't give up anything big on the defensive end.
This one tied at 14 now as he sends this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And with time a factor here late, he'll just take a knee and they'll start things out at the 25. Now the Vikings offense works their way back onto the field. They have a little bit of time here to get into field goal range. Not much. In a tie game, you don't want to do anything crazy, right?
I agree with you on that one. Risk reward, okay? If you go for it, what is the absolute reward on this? But the risk is probably greater. Run the clock out, get to overtime, and try and win it there.
All right, we'll see if they do just that. First down, here's the run with Cook. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Right there. Oh, damn, baby.
Brings up 2nd and 7 at the 28-yard line.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28. They run it again with Cook. And they're able to get this one across the 35.
Here we go. Here we go.
Final whistle blows, and we need some extra time here to decide who will be the victor.
60 minutes, just not enough some days to decide who's going to win the game.
And here in overtime, if the team that receives the ball scores a touchdown, it's over. If they don't, we can still have some more football.
That's exactly right. If they go down and kick a field goal, the other team gets a possession to either match it or score a touchdown to win the ball game. If both teams kick field goals, the next team to score wins. But if the receiving team throws a pick six or fumbles the ball and it gets picked up by the defense and they score, the game is over at that point.
So a tie ball game here as the kick's away. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The San Francisco offense getting their last-minute instructions before they take over here. They control their own destiny here. They have the football in overtime. Obviously, a touchdown would win it.
And I think teams around the league are still adjusting to the idea of going downfield, scoring a touchdown wins the game, because they were used to just going downfield and trying to get in field goal range to win a game. Still having to make that transition. Let's face it now, the ones who are doing it best know they need to go down, attack, put the ball in the end zone, and not leave it up to a field goal and give the other team a chance.
Yeah, as we said, they control their own destiny now. Throwing on first is Garoppolo. And he finds his tight end, Salek. Give him a couple on the catch. It's 2nd and 8.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
So 2nd and 8 here after the pass play for 2 yards on first down. Looking to throw. Garoppolo over the middle, and he's got Goodwin complete. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. That's complete to his receiver, Pettis. And that play is blown up, losing yardage back at the 35. It'll be a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd and 11. A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
And I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage about to develop, but that goes against every instinct of a receiver. They're taught to catch everything. So it's really hard to be mad at him and yell at him for trying to make that play.
180! 54! Mike, 54! Here we go.
Again, they'll throw with Garoppolo. He finds Taylor, complete.
Here we go!
So a big play in this opening drive of overtime. Now looking at a 3rd and 3.
I'm going back to you.
Garoppolo looks to throw once more. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. So instead of giving them another 3rd down, they'll decline it, brings up 4.
Now that's smart football right there. You don't even have to really spend a lot of time considering it. Just know that you're probably going to get the ball back. Good job declining that penalty.
Here comes the 49ers punter now. On for a very important punt here in overtime. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And this one hits at the 3 and then bounds into the end zone for a touchback.
Let's go!
The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. Their defense did its job, got the stop. All they need is 3, and this is over.
Couldn't have done much else other than score themselves and end it. But they turned it back over to them, and now all they need is a field goal to win the game. An excellent job by the defense. Can the offense finish things off?
Part 1 is done, now part 2. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Let's see what you got.
The first throw in overtime now for Cousins. He gets this one into the hands of Dalvin Cook. And he's going to lose yardage here, back to his own 18. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. Well, they try to swing it out left into the flat, complete, but really nice open field tackling.
And they played that one like a great boxer. They were on their toes on that one. They weren't back on their heels reacting to the play. No, they saw it, came right for it, and made a nice tackle for lost yardage.
2nd and 12 after the first down pass play went backwards for 2 yards. On the carry, it's Cook. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. Just a yard there, so it brings up a tough 3rd and 12.
Well, they had that one sniffed out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
On 3rd down, Cousins. Oh, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the safety, Jarquiski Tart. So we will see yet another drive in this overtime.
For whatever reason, neither team able to finish this game off. I know that the first thought is, does anyone really want to win it? But I think that they both desperately want to win it, and sometimes you force things, and that leads to errors.
Well, it's out there for the taking. We'll see who can do it. And San Francisco gets set to go here.
They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. If they want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. 180! No gain on this defense, no gain. Get hot!
On first down, here's Breida. And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. And I know you, with every carry, especially in overtime, you're just saying, if you're that ball carrier, hold on to the football.
Hold on to it, protect it, but not necessarily settling, because you're trying to get to the end zone. You're trying to end the game right here. And I know the defensive guys poking, clawing, raking, trying to knock the ball free and protect their end zone.
Yeah, like you alluded to, especially this part of the field. So now it'll all come down to Robbie Gould. This to win it in overtime. And he got it. The kick is good in overtime. He's able to split the uprights. And they take a 17-14 lead. So he remains perfect, 3 for 3 in the field goal department.
And it's so important for any offense to have an ace like him up their sleeve, isn't it? Because now you know what his range is, and as soon as your offense gets there, you're pretty much counting on 3 points going up on the board.
Well, we thought this game would be a good one. It did not disappoint into overtime, and it took the field goal to win it.
And we always pay lip service to how important it is to play defense. And usually we focus on the big offensive pyrotechnics, right? But in this case, they got the ball back on defense, gave themselves a chance, and they capitalized on it with a victory.
And I don't care what distance that field goes from in overtime. The knees are always knocking, but he pushed it through.
Not only that, think about your snapper,